What is up? What is up? It's been a minute since I done a video. I mean, about two weeks or so. Last one I did, I think, was with my first experience with AAU, and we've had another experience since then. And my son's had a travel soccer tournament. This is in regards to the youth athlete. As parents, how do we foster the best environment? And what do we do to help our athlete grow and still enjoy the sport that they love, that they chose to play? When do we go too far? What can we do to stop ourselves from crossing that line of going too far? It's been eye-opening, just in general. So just a little background. My daughter plays collegiate soccer, D2. She's been playing soccer since she was 4 years old. She is now 21. She's a great soccer player. Temporarily lost her love for the game due to a coach, bad situation, but she was able to move on and be revitalized. And she's going to finish out strong here her senior year, I believe, next year. She's played spring ball this year. I have a son that plays soccer as well. He followed in Sissy's footsteps in that aspect. He plays travel soccer. He's 11 years old, but he also plays basketball. That's where I was introduced to AAU at. This is AAU, like I said, is a different monster. It's kind of introduced me to a few things that I was unaware of, I've heard about. And I've been doing a little bit of research. Not light research, just listen to people who've been through AAU before, players, coaches, parents, and the likes, and just people that are going through it and people that offer advice, because everybody wants their kid to be the next big thing, right? And you see them play a little bit of basketball when they're young and they do something and you're like, oh my God, that's talent to be harvested. He can do it big, or she can do it big. And you may be right. But it's like, when does it, what do you do to cultivate that? I'm trying to foster the best environment for my son. So I'm not out there, drilling him daily. I'm not as active as I used to be as far as like balling. I watch a lot of sports, and I guess that doesn't count for much, but I listen to a lot of the people who've made it, and players. That's on every level: pro, collegiate, even high school players. What they did and what they do to to power through. So I guess what's really at me right now is like, my son's at a point where he's good, but he's still 11 years old. And he's a kid, and I don't want to rob him of his childhood. And so I am a tad bit, like, I am not pushy on him when it comes to his sports journey. I will encourage him to do stuff, to watch film, to watch other players, to practice, to do drills. He does have supplemental training with a trainer, great trainer. He's an awesome guy, and he does play on the AAU team. Great coach. So the team is new. They're new together, and and he loves basketball. But sometimes I see, that he just wants to be a kid. Like, sometimes he just wants to go outside and play with his boy. You know what I'm saying? His homeboy, his neighbor. And I look at these videos where these people are like, they got their 9-year-old kid, and they have a set routine. They're up and they're eating this, and they're working out at this time, and they're getting this many shots up, and they're getting that many shots up, and they're doing this and they're doing that. And my life is not that structured at the moment, and I don't know if that's what I would want to do. Is that my question? Another question is that what produces these athletes? And I talked to one of my homeboys. He has a nephew. Got a little height on him, I guess, when he was in high school. He said his nephew never played any like type of AAU or travel ball or anything like that. He just played in the backyard, and he didn't start playing basketball, I think, until high school. And he's like 6'2", 6'3", I think his nephew is. I had to ask him for sure, but he said that and people came to see him, came looking for him, asking him to play. You know, he ended up being on the high school team. I think he went D1. I think he plays over. He's now playing overseas. You know, so then there's that. You know, there's that aspect of it. There's that naturally gifted, physically gifted. You know, that it just kind of comes to you, kind of as automatically. So then, and there's a lot. I hear that. I've heard that some. I won't say a lot, but I've heard that before. And then I just think about the cost of the sports, and is it money well spent? You know, I reiterate that my son's 11. I don't want him to not be a kid. He's still a kid, man. He still wants to play video games. He still has homework to do. He still goes to church. He has church activities. He still has friends. He wants to hang out. So, and I try to instill in him a work ethic. He works hard when he's training. He works hard at practice. When he's off, he does play basketball. He does, you know, he shoots around. He's always in there outside when he has the opportunity. But I just don't want to push him too hard. And I know some people would look at this and was like, well, then your son's never going to be a success at basketball. But I just want him to kind of do it on his terms. As far as I want him to come to me and say, Dad, I want to be better. Or Mom and Dad, I want to be better at this. And because I don't want to force it on him. You know, I'm not going to force it on him. I don't want him to hate it or get to the point where he doesn't want to play it because it's not fun anymore. My daughter, going through soccer, you know, my wife is pretty on top of it, man. Like she was great at finding training, finding teams, scouting, everything. My wife is pretty much the reason why my daughter is playing D2 soccer. You know, she took the practice, all these trainings. She got her a personal trainer for strength and agility, and you know, we pushed her hard. I mean, it was some tough times, and it was some fights and some arguments, but she was driven because she loved soccer, and I think, you know, I'm trying to give my son some time to grow into that, you know, mature a little bit. Like I said, he's still a sixth grader. He's played on the middle school team, came off the bench, didn't get many minutes. He's a smaller guy, but he did make the team, and he has the skills. He possesses the skills to do it. You know, it's just a matter of the work ethic, and sometimes that comes from the parents, you know, but it also comes from the young athlete themselves. You know, I tell him all the time, like, if you want to get better, you gotta do it. You gotta, you know, work on what you're lacking at. You know, I said, you know, I'm telling him, like, hey, 100 free throws, you know, a day. You know, get up this many shots a day. You know, take what you learned in your training session from your coach. I mean, from your trainer. Apply that. Do those drills. Go on the app. You know, the coach puts out good information on the app. I'm sending him clips and on his to his social media for him to look at. But he doesn't. I mean, he's just really not there yet. And that's not to say that he's not going to get there. And you know, I was looking somewhere where, I mean, only 1% of the population that plays basketball makes it to. Man, I think that's to if I remember correctly, to like D1. And you know, there's only 400 to 500 players in the NBA at any given time. You know, so just some thoughts, man. What y'all think about AAU? Still mixed. I'm still mixed with it. I like that my son is playing with some ballers. I wish that our team could practice more, and I don't know the rules, and I don't know what's prohibited in that. But I know a lot of parents have different schedules and a lot going on, so it could be difficult for that to work. I don't know if it's a facilities issue, you know, but I think that it can be good and bad at the same time. You know, we got to see some very talented teams, and you know, we got to see some comparisons, and you know, got something to bounce off for my son to be, you know, for him to see him like, hey, you know, you see that, you know, and you can see, you even get encouragement from other teams' coaches to tell you like, hey, we were just like you guys when we started out, but we've been together for 3 or 4 years, and they've gotten that rapport, and they've gotten used to playing with each other. And I keep telling my son that I was like, you know, get used to playing with your teammates. You know, the more reps you guys get, the better. You know, it's been a whole, like, talk about a whole lot of nothing. You know, I did, you know, pose a few questions. If you took the time to listen to this, if you took the time to listen to this, please like, subscribe, comment, give me your thoughts on what's your breaking point for how much you do for your young athlete. How much do you push your young athlete? You know, where's the line? Where do you draw the line where you allow them to be a kid and also a young athlete? I think sports are good for kids. It's good for social skills, good for the camaraderie, good for them to learn how to accept loss, and also great for them to, you know, experience great highs. You know, but it teaches them to you know, to cope, you know, and to deal with pressure and to deal with certain situations. And I think I think youth sports are great. And to all the coaches out there and all the people that are legit and that really believe in what they're doing and really put their all into the kid, and it ain't all just about the money. You know, it's about fostering a place and an environment where a kid can grow and learn. I salute you guys all, because that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And you know, that's one big thing I like about our organization is that all our coaches are volunteers. So I know that you know, they don't have to volunteer their time to our kids. And anybody that does that and has your kids' best interest in mind and just want to see the best out of them, much love. With that being said, man, y'all give me a shout. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler. See you next time.